Hey, James, I brought this up before. I'd like to get your take that Florida State, one of their strengths is defensive front. Wake's a passing team. We expect them to bomb against anyone. Sam Hartman's coming off a 6-touchdown pass against Clemson in one of the best, maybe the best defensive front in college football. They come in, they provide a very balanced attack. Well, of course, they were in the lead most of the game, so that was part of that. But Justice Ellison, their top back, goes 18 for 114, has a big day on the ground. So are you looking at that defensive front as maybe not turning in the best of efforts?
Well, you have to also look at what the defensive front has had to go through. You've got your best player, your best defensive player in Fabian Lovett out, which clearly would change, especially with that slow mesh. So with the slow mesh, that a lot of people don't know, it's the weirdest, most patient offense that I've ever seen. You have to have huge balls to be able to play that as a quarterback. But if you don't get a push from your D tackles, it's literally setting that up. And without that, it kind of made the defensive line maybe a little bit more obsolete. On top of that, you've got edge guys, and you had Jared Verse who was on the snap count. So when Jared Verse got in the game in that second half, you saw a change, and you saw things like that slow mesh get rushed a little bit because there's a defensive end with bad intentions coming off the edge, and the other guys just aren't that right now. But you also saw where there were some clear times where, when the defensive end's shoulders are going in one direction and you see them turn, that should be textbook holding. But it wasn't called. So they had to get over it. And then a couple of times linebackers got lost in the mesh and the coverage. So I don't think it's indicative of how bad of the defensive line not being what they were promoted. I think it's indicative of having a lot of injuries and wanting guys to step up. And I think where Norvell, again, as a young coach, you got to get your wins and your victories and you score your points early. You don't have enough depth to be strategic about all of this. You've never been to a bowl game at Florida State. So I get it. Fabian Lovett is healthy enough, but you don't want to risk him getting hurt. Jordan Travis, if Jordan Travis could play, he should have played the rest of the game against Louisville if he played like he did against Boston College. You don't know if you're going to win another game. You don't have the luxury of trying to set somebody, we're going to bring him. We're not that good yet. You can't say, we'll bring him back Clemson. No. If they can play, now is the time to play. Unless it's a catastrophic injury where you really, really can't do anything. But at this point in the season, if you play football the way God meant it to be played, which is violent, you're hurt unless you're the quarterback. The quarterback gets green jersey. Nobody touches him during the week. But if you play every position other than the quarterback, you've got some kind of ouchie boo-boo that you're going to have to just get over. You're not 100%. Nobody's 100% at this point. So I understand the thought process, but I think that explains why we were more like that for Wake Forest.
Along those lines, real quick, James, when you talk about where we are right now, we start off the season 4-0. There's a legitimate chance we could lose these 3 games, the Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson. What do you think? Let's say, worst case scenario, Florida State does lose their next 2 games. How do you think that mindset's going to change? I mean, obviously, we know about the change. You go into the bye week with a 3-game losing streak. But do you think there's going to be a little bit of we still have a winning record, the season's still in front of us at this rate?
No, I think it depends on how you lose. It's just like even in this game, like I saw so many fans, woe is me, we suck. I was like, damn, are we not 4-1? Like, did people watch a different game than I watched? I legitimately was curious because the game I watched, especially the second half, I watched live, and even my 9-year-old son, but then again, he probably knows more football than most of our beat, is like saying like, Dad, we had every chance to win that game. We just did not take advantage of what we took advantage of. Outside, like Jordan Travis played a better game as a quarterback than Sam Hartman, who all of us thought was a better quarterback. Shout out and kudos to me and very few other people who told y'all that Jordan Travis was a damn good quarterback. He just didn't get a chance. And like we see, Jordan Travis is what? Number 2 in the ACC, number 11 in the nation in QBR. We beat him there. They beat us in time of possession, which they had a lot in the first half. But it was 405 total yards of offense to 393 total yards of offense. There wasn't a lot in there. And this same Wake Forest team took Clemson to the edge. if you go out there and you play ball the way you're supposed to play, there's no reason to be disheartened because no matter how good you thought Florida State was going to be, you didn't expect this team to be in the playoffs. So you knew this stretch was going to be tough. The difference is, and which I'm ashamed, I'm ashamed that a lot of people actually felt this way, that you didn't think we would be 4-0 getting into that damn game. But you didn't think we were going to be 4-0 getting into that game. And now people are upset that we might be 4-3. But I know what the players' goal is and what their intentions are. And what a lot of these guys are talking about is about building something, leaving the program better than what they found it. So if you go out there and you there's nothing about North Carolina State, there's nothing about Clemson that you should just inherently fear. And you know if you go out there and play your best ball game, you have a really, really good chance of winning. Now, if you get 11 penalties for 96 yards, you're not going to win. But if you go out there and you play a clean football game, you know you got a chance. So I think that's what these guys are right now. That's what their main thing is, thinking that. And then after that, they still have the goals that they went into the season with, to obviously beat your two rivals, get to a bowl game, and into the best bowl game that you could possibly get. Those were the goals. It should have been the goals. Like, not to, again, and then the reach goals are win the ACC, play in the playoffs, which they don't get the luxury of thinking like that, but nobody, like, in our world really thought that they were going to win the ACC or make it to the playoff.